because I've never done a regression to say, okay, this is specifically what caused it for me. I know I had a lot of stress, and I had other symptoms that told me that there were things that were going on. At the time, I didn't know that it was like estrogen overproduction. So estrogen is a huge thing for breast cancer. Let me just say this again. Estrogen is a huge thing for breast cancer. So if you have things like fibroids, endometriosis, PCOS, fibrocystic breast, all of those things, chances are you're an estrogen dominant, and there are things that causes estrogen overproduction. And there are things like Shandira mentioned, the things that you put on your body, the chemicals in your ear, the things that you use to clean your floors, xenoestrogens that come from things like plastics. So there are a lot of things that contribute.
I'm telling you, this is an experience that you really, no matter how private you are, this is an experience you don't want to do alone. You know, your network and village might not be as large as mine, and mine might be smaller compared to hers. But if you can have like one or two trusted people who you can draw on, because it's so much to carry on your own. And like I said, there's some people who may not have that, and I think that's where the support groups are so helpful.
But understand, it's a process. It's a process. Sometimes we don't want to go through the process, so we abandon God's words. Don't abandon God's word in your process. Don't abandon God's words in your process. In John 17:17, he says, sanctify them through thy word. Thy word is truth. See, there are many things we can't trust in this life, but I can guarantee you, you can trust God's word.
Sometimes we have distorted predictions. God designed our mind to be able to process a potential outcome. That is something that other creatures don't necessarily have the ability to do. We have the ability. That is a God design. Having God's DNA in us, he gave us a fraction of who he is and his ability to see from the beginning and the end. And he allowed us to be able to project with our thoughts, what could the potential outcome be if I XYZ?
Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Zoom Hope Live. We're just so happy to be back here, and we know that this is going to be an awesome treat for all of us today. If you have not done so as yet, please go over to zoomhopelive.org and please interact with our various social media whether it is Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. If you're watching on YouTube, my friend is still here and he's saying subscribe. So right, you got to make sure you subscribe, get those subscription up and ring the notification bell. So my super subscription, he is trusting you to get those subscription going up. So as we have our different programming, you can know exactly when we're live. And of course, you know, since month, we have been doing this small initiative to raise $1,000 for, and we designated to the Sister Breast Cancer Support Group. And we want you, today is your last day to give directly to Zoom Hope Live so we can give this donation. So please go to PayPal, zoomhopelive@gmail.com or PayPal me/ZoomHopeLive. And please give whatever you can. And by the way, we're not yet at $1,000. I know this is just a few weeks that we're trying to get it, but we're almost there. I think we're 700 and some mash. And I have some other pledges that I'm waiting on to come in. But if you have not yet given, please let us sow a seed in this cause. And as I've said, 100% of whatever we collected will be turned over to the Sister Foundation. So we're trusting you. We're hoping that you will just get this going, and we'll say it throughout this program and get your pledge live online. All right. So please share this as well to your friends, your family, your different groups, so that they can benefit too from the discussion. And this is our final discussion this month on breast cancer. And there are a lot of persons who are grappling, fighting with this thing called breast cancer. It's a hard knock to fight, and you have people out there who are willing to join families and individuals in this fight. And as such, one of those persons that we should have some more persons on the team. There are some technical difficulties that they're having, but we have one person so far, and that is the president for the Sister Foundation. Welcome, Dr. Sweeting.
Thank you so much. The name is Andrea Sweeting. I'm not a medical doctor as yet.
Right, not as yet.
Not as yet, no.
Right.
But
Right,
it's a pleasure to be here with you all this evening.
Right. So welcome to Zoom Hope Live, and tell us a little bit about what you do and who you are as we enter into discussion today.
Well, truthfully, I am a 72-year-old survivor of not of breast cancer. My age is 72. I am a 20-year to the right breast and a 1 year to the left breast. And what actually happened was 20 years ago when I was diagnosed and I had the mastectomy, I did ask to have the left breast removed and was told that insurances don't pay for well breasts. But I didn't have the knowledge to say, well, okay, what would the charge be to have it removed? So it stayed. In September of 2019, I had a stroke. My whole left side was compromised. And I was fortunate enough, I have 2 children that live in the Tampa area, and I went to them and did my therapy over there at Advent Health. And I must give it to those persons that they did a marvelous job, because when I left Nassau, I wasn't walking and I wasn't talking. So they were truly great with me. And when I came back home and the pandemic started, I knew I had to take an x-ray of the left arm in any aspect for them to see exactly what was going on, for them to start the therapy. And so the 1st of July last year, I said to Doc Monroe, in 2019, I said to Monroe, I said, I'm going to need your help here. He says, okay, we'll take an x-ray. And I went to Fourth Charles Diagnostic, and the technician was extremely nice. And she said to me, did he ask you to do a mammogram? So I said, I didn't think so. She checked her nose and she says, well, it's only going to cost you an additional $20 for what you're paying now. I said, let's do it.
Wow.
And so I did it.
Just $20 more.
Yes, $20 more, because I was doing some other stuff as well. So we did it. The very next morning, Doc Monroe calls and says that come to the office. So I went and I said to him point blank, I said, Doc Monroe, you examined me the day before I was here. You didn't say anything and I didn't feel it. So I don't know what the devil it is. I said, so you could take the breast off. He said, no, it doesn't look suspicious. I said, I don't care if it's suspicious or not. We're taking this off. And so the following week, I did the surgery and had the mastectomy and had it done. Yes. It came back the same stage it was 20 years ago, 0 to stage 1. Could you believe that?
Wow.
So I am truly thankful and grateful for the prayers, the love and the encouragement from all of my persons and people to help me get to where I'm at today. That's why I will continue to help wherever I can. And
awesome. So tell us, because we're gonna have a long discussion, right? So you are the president of the Sister Foundation.
Sister, right. Sister was formed in September of 2000 by 2 compassionate surgeons, Dr. Loxley Monroe, Dr. Charles Diggis, and our nurse, Charlene McPhee. These
Awesome.
three individuals realized that when they had a patient coming in and it was cancerous, it was so difficult to calm them down. And so
Right.
they had asked individuals who've already gone through this trauma to be in the office to help that individual to know this person has gone through this and they're still here. So you have the same future. And
Right.
then we decided we'll all get together and come together that way. So we
Awesome.
started with an amount of 15 persons, and Miss Yvette Cargill Williams was our first president. When I joined in April, I think of the year 2001, I was the secretary for 6 years, and then I became the president.
Awesome, awesome. So we're gonna go in that and more shortly, and I'm looking forward to the discussion. I hope that your colleagues will actually get
Yes, I
online.
hope so too.
Yeah, so that we could connect with them. I'm still looking on my phone
Yes,
to see.
yes,
But we're gonna go in a good chit chat. But folks,
sure.
we have some songs that we want you to be blessed by. There are two. We'll play one now and one later. We're gonna start with Joshua Stewart, my very I could say my nephew, right? He has another single that is out there. Still, he has not worked on the video for it as yet, but I am telling you, you will enjoy Joshua Stewart. I Will Trust.
So, this song is called I Will Trust, right? And this song was made in the most ghetto way possible. Like literally, let me go on my phone. Literally, instead of using mics to record the vocals on this song, I literally used voice memos, literally, to record the vocals. And like, this song, I was going through a rough time, right? Like a little backstory. I was going through a rough time. There was this situation where I needed to get out of it badly, or something extremely bad was going to happen. And I remember my dad was telling me, you got to trust God, you got to do all that stuff. And a lot of times people say we got to trust God, but it's not as easy as people, say it is. And I remember one night I went to my keyboard and I just started playing. I started singing. And I went on Google and I never forgot it. And I typed in scriptures about trusting God. And I saw this text in Psalms that said, I will trust in you, O Lord. And God is my salvation. And I just started playing and I started singing. I was like, wow, like this song could actually, this song could actually be something.
And I really think you're gonna like it. Check it out, it's a real simple song. It simply says, I will trust in you, oh Lord. 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 Come on, let's go. I will trust in you, oh Lord. I will trust in you, oh Lord. I will trust in you. I will trust in you. Oh, I will trust in you. We don't sound good. Alright, check this out. God is my salvation. When I feel frustration, when I don't have an explanation, you are my foundation. When things aren't going my way, and I don't know what to say, I just kneel down and pray and say, God, you'll make a way. Oh, Let's go. I will trust in you, oh Lord. I will trust in you, oh Lord. I will trust in. I will trust in you, oh Lord. I will trust in you. In the middle of the storm, I will trust in you. Sometimes I don't know what to say. I try so hard to obey, but things still don't go my way. Even when I pray, check this part out. But I learn to trust you always. Never left me in the place, and now I can give you the praise. I say, God, you'll make a way. Yeah, come on, everybody, let's go. I will trust in you. Oh, I will trust, Lord. I will trust in you.
I will trust in you, oh Lord. Wow, wow, wow. That's an awesome song. And please
It
go and
sure
support Joshua
was.
and get those music on your devices, and so you can have it rolling. All right, so we're gonna jump right into it. Miss Andra, you're telling us
Yes.
a little bit about the establishment of the Sister Support Group.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more about how the group was established from your knowledge?
Like I said, we started with a group of 15 women. 15 women. And we say thanks to our past president, Yvette Lockett Williams, who started off the group for us. I would like to say, too, that when the group started, our main object was to assist women. Our motto then was Women Helping Women. And we gave the Portacats, which is the instrument that is surgically implanted for the administration of the chemotherapy. And we also provide the gripper needles, which is for the transfusion of the chemo. And so that is the main thrust of our purpose out here. We were able to, in years by, help persons to go and have their PET CT done. The PET CT scan is a full body scan, which actually enables the doctors to see more if this cancer has spread. And so that is one of the things that helps them as well. Unfortunately, we can't do that at this point, but we do have a machine here in the Bahamas, so it's much cheaper to do it at home because you'd have to find an airline ticket as well as your cost to go and have that done. And so persons can do it at home now. But if we can assist in some way, we would try to help. But we really try to focus on our main object, which is the ports and the needles. And that's the main thing for us. During the pandemic, we were unable to have our main fundraiser, which is the prayer breakfast. And we say thanks to BAF Financial, who have been there for us for the past 16 years to have that breakfast. And so we didn't have to bother so much because during that, even the booklet, we had ads from various organizations and corporate sponsors to assist us with that as well, too. So we did very well with that particular fundraiser. And in the year of 2016, in the year of 2016, we had a young lady that came into our meeting, a Wednesday evening to our meeting, and she was very distraught. And I said to her, what's the problem, madam? She said, I didn't have anything to eat today. I didn't have the funds to buy me even a cup of tea. And I really and truly felt for her. So what we collected that afternoon at our meeting, we gave to her, as well as we provided supper for her and her children. Within a week, she had passed away. And we decided to go and, we decided to check with Sister Williams at oncology to find out if we can come up and serve one day of breakfast. And she told us she could only give us a day. We'd have to write in for permission, which we did. We got the permission, and we started serving tea at oncology on a Tuesday morning. And now that it's the pandemic, unfortunately, we're unable to go up there. They ask us not to do so. But what we do is we prepare bags for them. When we set a gift bag, we will have in there a bottle of water. We would have cranberry juice or coconut water. We would give them a cup for their tea and a tea bag, as well as we would have some ginger mints and a cracker for them. And also sometimes we try to make sure that they have a flyer from different churches or organizations. But honestly and truly, we're still able to do that. And we're thankful to the different fraternity groups and sorority groups who have been there assisting us with the products to ensure that it happens every Tuesday morning. So that is one of the main thrusts of the group. And one of the things I like to say when I mentioned earlier that I said that our motto was women helping women. And we realized that our children needed porta cats as well, as we knew our men were being diagnosed with prostate cancer, colon cancer, or any other. So we decided that we will change the motto, and we now say women helping others. And we would give that porta cat to anybody that actually needs it. So we don't discriminate at all.
Wow. So you have actually grown beyond yourself. And
yes.
For example, you're saying that when Dr. Monroe and Digges they came together, they were thinking about women helping women. But the vision that they placed, it actually grew way beyond that.
That's quite right. Quite right. Because like I say, go ahead.
Go ahead. That's all right.
No, I said any person, any individual, like I said, even for the children. Dr. Sinkweek is the oncologist for children. And when she approached us, we told her we'd be happy to assist her. And that's when we started the children. And then we had men coming in asking as well. So we decided we can't say no. We just have to help whomever we can. And we have been blessed so far to be able to do that. Thanks.
Yeah, that's quite admirable. Let me ask though, the founders of Sister, were they themselves victims of breast cancer, or they were just, look at what is happening and say we need to?
They were just two compassionate surgeons. And as I mentioned, Nurse McPhee was the nurse in charge of that particular office in those days. And that is how we got started. And we give kudos to the staff in there as well. And because those are the individuals that make sure that someone was there to assist.
Okay. Awesome. So I can see that, one does not have to have breast cancer to have that passionate spirit towards,
No, that's quite right.
Part of the foundation. So
quite right.
In the Bahamas, what is it like in terms of the numbers for breast cancer out there? And do you have connection? Well, I'm asking, but I know, right? Do you have connection in other islands?
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, we do. We have patients that come from all the family islands, and we provide the porta cath and the needles for them. They would call us in advance and said that they're coming, and then they would definitely come to the office and pick up their needles. And the needles, we try to give them at least 2, but we can't give them more than that because the needles have an expiration date. So if we give you more than that, it might be expired by the time you need to come for your next treatment. So we will provide them for you on each time. We have a branch in Freeport, as well as we have one in Abaco, and we give thanks to both of these groups, as well as we have one at UB. Years ago, we decided to go into UB and try to speak to our young adults. And we're so happy they took to it, and they are very helpful as well, too. We want to give them prudence for that.
Right. So the how do you operate in terms of working with the chapters? When you come together, what do you do as an organization?
Okay, with
And
our chapters, we
Mhm.
realized that with as it stands right now, we used to travel a lot. We used to go to them at least every 3 months or 4 months. But as it stands now, we can't do that. So when we have a Zoom meeting, we try to get as many of them on as possible. And so that is the way it is. But we try to keep in contact. And if they have a patient coming down, they would call us and let us know that XYZ person is expected. And we will do our best to make sure that they're comfortable while they're here and get them back home.
Okay. So based upon your experience in terms of seeing persons who go through, being from diagnosed with breast cancer to surviving, some dying, um, how often do you see persons get that kind of diagnosis or in the Bahamas?
It's pretty often. It's truly pretty often. As it stands right at this very moment, we are having a bit of a challenge because, as I mentioned earlier, without the prep breakfast and the funding, we had to really and truly, Ports International, that is where we get the Porter Cats from, they took it upon themselves to extend us a line of credit. And so as we get a donation, we would try to make sure that we pay them or give them something on that particular account. As it stands too, we just found out about a week and a half ago that they themselves don't have the ports in at the moment. They're just getting them back. I think they got some back in on Monday of the week. So hopefully everybody can start to come back and pick up theirs. But what we try to do is, if an individual presents a prescription and that prescription have a date on it, and today being Friday, and the prescription has Monday on it, we would definitely give them that part because we don't want them to miss their appointment for surgery. And that means if they do miss it, they may have to wait another month or more. And we don't want them to linger. We want them to get into surgery as quickly as possible so they can start their treatments.
Right. Yeah. Honestly, I think breast cancer hit home close to me in terms of friends and loved ones, persons who are very close that I see have to go through this grueling disease, and
Yes.
it causes me to actually look out there. I see persons die from other kinds of cancer, and as a pastor and a chaplain, just the process of that and seeing the transformation, how it caused that takes place upon an individual.
Yes.
It's definitely something to bring more awareness to. The statistic shows that for prostate cancer in the year 2020, that is, there have been 201 diagnoses of that, persons who have
Yes.
been confirmed to have that, male. And for breast cancer in female, there has been 166. That's 18.9%. So
Yes.
that's a big number. Sometimes we get caught up, and I'm not saying don't do that with the murder rate, but this one is actually higher.
I agree.
This is higher.
Totally agree with you.
So as you think about awareness and breast cancer and the Sister Bahamas support group, what are the charitable undertakings? You have related a little bit to some, but perhaps maybe you could, say some more. What are the charitable undertakings and goals of the Sister support group?
Well, truthfully, like I said, that's the main two, the ports and its needles. That's the main two. During this pandemic, we actually gave out more than 100 coupons for persons to go into the food store and to help themselves. And then we try to give out bags. Whoever supplies the bags for us, like Mr. Smith, we would give these bags back into our community of survivors. We would call them and let them know that we have a package for them and try to get that to them. So we try in every aspect to make sure that the women are comfortable and the men or the families are comfortable. That's the most important part of it. So we try our hardest in that aspect to make sure that everybody feels comfortable and know that if they have a problem, they can call us. We will try our best to help in every aspect.
Mhm. So how hard it is though for an individual when they're diagnosed to actually, when it comes on to having the means to get the care that they need? How hard is that from your experience?
It's difficult, but we have to try to calm our individuals down. Yes, if you look at it to say, well, I can't afford this, then you're going to have a big problem. We have to actually go into everything with that attitude to know God is able and He would help us through this. Yes, even for chemotherapy, we gift the ports and the needles, but the individual has to pay for the actual medication. And in some cases, each medication, we all take something differently, and they are expensive. So you have to have an account at PMH to actually do this. And we try to encourage persons, yes, it may not be much, but try to put something on it. That's the most important part of it. Because we have other persons who are actually sitting there waiting to actually be able to go in as well. So if one of us don't or unable to pay, then that means it's going to be even more difficult for another individual, because when we look at it, PMH may not have the funding to actually purchase the medication for each and every one of us. And so we all have to do our part to keep things going.
Right. So now what's your perspective though on awareness and perhaps maybe large public, when I say, because awareness also from my perspective, it should materialize in action.
Yes.
So what's your perspective in terms of the awareness of what is happening in terms of breast
what
cancer?
we want our young women, especially our young women, to know your bodies. Yes, persons may have this concept to say that you're feeling up yourself, but honestly and truly, you need to know. And we ask persons to do their self-breast examination at least 2 weeks before the menstrual cycle or 2 weeks afterwards. Or for some persons, maybe they are having a discomfort, so maybe you have to do it a week before or a week afterwards. So it depends on the individuals and how they're feeling. But you should know your body better than anybody else. If something goes wrong, I just gave you an example of me. I didn't feel anything, but something was there, and it was picked up by the mammogram. And so if you're feeling a discomfort or know something, I think you should go and get it done. Mammograms during the month of October are discounted, and we're grateful for that because they're trying to encourage persons to come and have it done. Yes, some women have the concept to think that, yeah, my breast will be squeezed a lot, but with the new machines that they're having now, it's not as difficult as it was before. But it's better to know beforehand than to wait until it's a little bit too late and it's more difficult to treat, or it'll take longer to treat it. In most cases, some of us only take 6 cycles of chemotherapy. And if it's more aggressive, then we have to take it for a longer period.
Right. So definitely, you're saying that, especially for the women, but as
yes,
men too.
Yes, men too.
Should make sure that they check.
Yes.
And regularly. So 2 weeks before or 2 weeks after.
Yes.
Menstrual cycle.
Yeah.
In terms of public health, what has that been like from your recollection or knowledge?
Honestly and truly, we have to really send out kudos and congratulations to our public workers. We could not do the things that we're doing without them, because most of us go through the public oncology to have their chemo treatments.
Mhm.
And it is a lot, but I must give it to them. They all try their best to make sure that we're comfortable and we understand what we're doing. And I want everybody to know that it's not easy because each of us have different types of fears. And so that nurse, that particular day, has to calm you down to actually inject this needle and to hook up this bag. And that is the biggest thing. So for them, I would like to say, congratulations. And I give you all the praise and the thanks for having that kind of attitude to comfort these individuals once they step their feet into that door.
All right, thank you. Now, we're going to go on a short break. And when we return, we want you to tell us a little bit about your story. And of course, afterwards, maybe share the stories of others. I want you to tell us a little bit about your story and your journey with breast cancer. But we're going to go on a break and we'll come back. We're talking to Andra Sweeting she's a president of the Sisters Breast Cancer Support Group in the Bahamas. Please don't go anywhere. You can just share the link and we will be right back.
Thank you.
Wow. So thank you so much for tuning in to Zoom Up Live today and sharing the link, subscribing, and all of that good stuff. As you know, from the beginning of this month, we have been doing this drive to raise a few dollars for the Sisters Foundation. And if you want to do so, you could just go to PayPal and zoomoplive@gmail.com or PayPal me /Zoom Hope Live. All right, so you can do that today. At the end of the program, we hope that by then we'll be able to give you some direct information because we will end our drive this month. But after we end this drive, you still will be able to give directly to the Sister Foundation. So with that being said, we have Andra Sweeting who is here with us. And before the break, I was asking her to share her experience. She started off by sharing her experience during the introduction, but we'd like to hear a little bit more about that. So, Sister Sweeting, you said
Yes.
20 years ago in
Yes.
your breast,
Right.
the oncologist told you that, yes, you have it. What was that experience like for you?
Truly devastated. Truly devastated. The thing about it is I took a mammogram the November of the year of 2019. No, 220, sorry. 2000. And went into New York for Thanksgiving. And when I came back, I got a note from Dr. Farrington then, who's now deceased, may he rest in peace, to say, please come to the office very quickly. And when I went, then he said to me that, I'm sorry to say, but this looks very suspicious. We need to do a mastectomy. In those days, I had insurance, and then I realized that Dr. Farrington was not in the network, and that is how I came to go to Dr. Charles Diggis. I went to Dr. Diggis in December, which is, I think, about the middle of December, and he said to me, yes, we have to do a mastectomy. But I think it's so close to the holidays, to Christmas, let's do it in January. I said, fine with me. So January 5th is when I took it off, January 5th in 2001. And I'd say to everybody, yes, I was nervous and afraid, but I knew within myself that I wanted to get to the bottom of this to see what the whole situation was.
Right.
Dr. Diggis was extremely nice and everything else made me very comfortable with the whole procedure. And I'll always remember, I think the second day he came to check me out to send me home, he said, I have someone for you to meet. And I was a bit nervous to say, who could this be? And then I was told about their office, where their office was, because I did everything through Doctor's Hospital. And when I went to the office is when I met Nurse Macthi and everyone else, and that's when I joined the group right after that. And the individual he wanted me to meet was Nurse Macthi, because he said, you have the right attitude, you're comfortable, and you're willing to share what your journey was. So for me, it was not bad. And those days I had insurance. I was working at Comfort Suites on Paradise Island, and I must give it to my old boss, Mr. McVean. He was extremely nice. And I had to go into Florida to do the radiation. And I did my chemotherapy also in Florida to Dr. Gershon Blyden, who is a Bahamian, but he is also an oncologist in the US. And so I did my 6 rounds of chemo treatment with him. When it came time for the actual radiation, I had to stay at Hope Lodge, which is the Winn-Dixie Hope Lodge, which no longer exists right in the Florida area. And in those days, everybody at home that was having cancer was coming into Hope Lodge to stay there. And they did their treatments at Mount Sinai. For me, I did mine across the street. So every time persons went out to Mount Sinai, we would all take the bus ride and go out there as well, whether we went to that hospital or not. And Mount Sinai was, honestly and truly, they made sure that we went out. Their wholesalers would always bring in items. So they gave us fruit, they gave us juices, water, everything you could think of. And when we were leaving, they tell you, please take as much as you like, because tomorrow morning it will be replenished. When we went across the street to the Winn-Dixie store, as long as you went in and they knew you were from Hope Lodge, you didn't have to worry about anything. They made sure that you had what you needed. And one of the first things they actually gave you would tell you to come and give you the aloe. They would make sure that you had aloe to take home with you. So honestly and truly for me, I didn't have any problems during my chemotherapy and radiation. I was truly blessed in that aspect. None at all.
None. That's for both cases.
No, just for the one case, just for the right breast. For my left breast, I took that off and they had asked me to do Arimidex, which is an oral meds. Arimidex, an oral medication.
Right.
And that was just recently, just a year ago.
Yeah, 2019, you said?
Yes, 2019, when I had the stroke. And then in 2020 is when I took the breast off. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So it's 1 year now. Yes.
Wow. So what would you say to other persons who have to think about, taking that route? Because for some, first you say just the idea of that was devastating, but as you go through it was not as hard on you as it was with others. What advice would you give to someone then, upon confronting this, the idea of removing their breast, and what's your
one of the things I say to our women is, it is a difficult decision. Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. And because we put so much emphasis on this breast, and that is the one thing that we have to realize, that we can live without it. And you have to come to that comfort zone to realize that whatever you're doing, that you're helping yourself to live another day. And that's the only comfort. We can be there to strengthen you. We can be there to uplift you, but you have to be comfortable enough. And I find that persons who accept, I am going to be well, regardless to what I'm going through right now, then they have a better attitude and a better journey through it all. And that's the most important thing. So we want you to be comfortable with your illness and actually know that, hey, the more you put into it, the quicker you get out of it. And that's the way it is.
Right. So the sister support group, apart from those medical areas that you assisted with, how do you assist in terms of building individuals in this regard, emotionally, become, to get that kind of strength and support to go through the process of
Well,
recovering?
at our meetings, we try to help them to understand that they can now talk about it themselves. And I think the more you talk about it, the more you release it.
Mhm.
That's the one thing I realized. The more we speak about this, the more we release it. So we encourage them to talk about their feelings and what they're going through so that someone else can address it for them. But if we don't know, we can't help in any aspect.
That's right. That's right. Now, one of the thing that recently has become it's everybody's reality is the idea of being locked in COVID-19, etc.
Yes.
So how are you able to operate and keep the Breast Sister Foundation relevant in a time like this? Because yes, COVID is there, but the diagnosis they're not going down.
That's
As
right. They're not going down.
last year, that's 166.
Yes,
So it's not going down. So how do you keep it going?
the thing about it is we're so grateful and thankful to our nurse Charlene Maxey, who is one of the founders. She is in the store for us, and she is the individual that persons would take their prescription to, and she would then speak with them, and then we would take their numbers and we would put them into what our group, into the WhatsApp group, to make sure that we keep track of them. When we have our meetings by Zooms, we can't meet each other these days, so we try to have the meetings by Zoom. And we have as many persons on that can get on. We realize some persons cannot, but we try to call them and see what's going on with them. And so we try to assist in that aspect. But we have to keep each other's spirits up. That's the most important thing. And that is why I always encourage persons to talk about it. You're not the only one. You're not the only one. And so if you talk about it, someone can say to you, oh, I went through that, but I did this or I did that. So if you express your feelings, they would be able to help you more. And that is what we encourage persons to do. Express what you're going through so that someone can help you with that journey.
Wow. Because talking itself is therapeutic.
Yes.
And it releases a lot of stress that is
It does.
Inside. And in a previous program, one of the guests was actually saying that she knows that with everything else, things that she put on, the BRCA gene, all of those stuff, has its place in terms of causing breast cancer.
Mm-hmm.
But being stressed, also it does not help the body at all. It exposes the body, and it might not be scientific out there, because I was looking at that, and they was saying that stress does not cause breast cancer. But from her experience, she was saying that she realized that she was taking on so much burden on her, and she believed that also contributes to her as well.
The illness, yes. It can, because like we say, all of us are different in every aspect. So what is going to cure you will do something else for me. And so that is why, like you're saying, we can't keep the stress within us. We have to find ways to talk about it. Share it with someone else. Find a way to share it with someone else. Find that confidence to know that that individual is going to do their best to assist you and not actually talk about you.
Right.
But when you keep all these things to yourself, then you're doing yourself more harm than good.
Awesome. So folks, we're still talking to Andrea Sweeting, president of the Sister support group here in the Bahamas. And we have been talking about breast cancer all month long. And today is our final episode on breast cancer. Also, Zoom Up Live, we have dedicated this month to do all our donation that we receive towards the Sister Breast Cancer Foundation. Our target, it was $1,000. We are a little bit below that, and we are asking you, if you have not yet done so, please go to PayPal at zoomoplive@gmail.com, and we want you to send your donation. Or you could just type in paypal.me/ZoomHopeLive, and you can make that donation. I'm telling you, you will be helping to save the life of someone. And by saving one person's life or helping one person through this process, you'll be helping an entire family. You'll be helping your nation. So please sow a seed for this cause. We're going to take a short break, and this one is not solely breast cancer, but this commercial, it's about cancer on a whole. Let us open our hearts for this one.
Some say you'll never be alone. Some say that things cannot go wrong. But when you come undone, it's true. Sometimes you feel it's only in the dark. You feel alone. In the dark, all hope is gone. Dreams go by and fade away. Feels so cold, left us safe. Who can the forces steal? No dreams when you are in too deep. Sometimes you feel it's only you. Don't give up, don't fall apart. Let the warmth inside your heart make you come back home again. Let the sun lead your way. As long as love fills your heart, you know you'll never fall apart. You know you'll never fall apart. As long as love fills your heart.
Wow. That's why we need to be concerned, folks. So Zoom
That's
Up
right.
Live want to say a very big, huge thank you to those who have already donated and give your support. As I've said, we have, I believe it's like $700 and something already in donation. We're still trying to get to the 1,000, but Thank you, those who have already given to this cause. We don't have enough thanks to express to you. But you're seeing it on the screen right now. You can give, you can click, you can go in the chat and you can click on the link. Zoom, paypal.me/Zoom Hope Live. And please, 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 we're asking you to help us to surpass or reach or surpass our goal in this worthy endeavor. So partner, please, with Zoom Hope Live as we try to raise these funds. Thanks again to all those who have given. I know that it's a hard time. We're living a hard time. But you have taken the time to give, and we appreciate it. So right now, you can go to PayPal and you can email your donation to zoomhopelive@gmail.com or PayPal me/Zoom Hope Live. PayPal.me/Zoom Hope Live. And please, 100% of all the donation we receive will be turned over to the Sister Foundation. And we don't want to go beyond Monday. By Monday, we want to give the check, and we want to be able to say, praise the Lord for what he has done. So
Amen.
Please, we're asking you, please, make your pledge and give your donation. We appreciate it to the depths of our heart. So we are talking now. We're talking to Andra Sweeting, the president of the Sister Bahamas Foundation, Breast Cancer Foundation, our support group. And wow, what a discussion it has been, from looking at the inception of this great and purposeful organization from 2000 to it being here still. A lot of persons start things, but just don't have it to continue it. But when you and God start something, it's not going to end. And based upon my view of the Sister Foundation, I believe it was in 2000 and 15 or thereabouts, somewhere in that category. I remembered partnering with the Sister organization before on a Global Youth Day, and we had a march in Ralston Square. Then I was the youth director of the conference. And now, just to get this opportunity to do this again, it's a big blessing to Zoom Hope Live. So Andra Sweet is here with us from the Sister Foundation. Now, from 2000 to now, and I'm just so sorry that your other sisters weren't able to join. Because of, they're not been able to get on through the link provided. But you would have seen many stories.
Yes.
The good, the bad, and the in-betweens. We're open to hear, 2 or so of those stories. Please.
Well, one of the things I'd like to say is that we have a very active executive, and I'd like to make sure mention them. We have Nurse Sandra Ferguson Rule, who is our vice president. We have our secretary, Helen Rule, and we have our assistant secretary, Mrs. Missick, Maxine Missick, and our treasurer, Chantel Cox Hutchinson. These sisters, I must give it to them, are really hardworking, and we try to make sure that we keep everybody abreast of what is going on, whether we have to do it individually, where we would call them individually, and do whatever we have to do to keep that going, especially during these times. When it comes to individuals,
that's the same persons who are on the picture that we saw. at the beginning? That's the
Yes,
executive. Okay.
yeah, right, yeah, most of yeah, and we just like to, I'd like to say too, that when it comes to individual stories, I just want to make sure that everybody know that we're all different and unique, and so
Mhm.
my story is going to be different from somebody else's, and we want persons to realize that if we tell you something about ourselves, that does not mean it's going to happen to you. It's the attitude in which we actually go with that. And that is for everything. And when I say everything, I mean even for the surgery. Some persons, after they have surgery, we give them squeeze balls and we want them to realize that they have to exercise that particular arm. They're given a drain ball so they can get the fluid out. And that drain ball, it has to be measured every morning and emptied and then set back up again. And that is the way your doctor or your surgeon knows that the fluid is coming out. The drain ball can stay in for about 3 weeks and then they would take it out. But you must still exercise the arm. You want that arm to be exercised. That is the only way you're going to get the fluid out. Because if you don't, then you can have something that we call lymphedema, which is the swelling of the arm. And you'd have to wear like a stocking hose. So it's a support mechanism to try to squeeze that fluid out. And so when you tell persons that they have to do certain things, they say, but I could hardly get up. Yeah, but you have to try. You just can't stay there. You have to try and you have to do the exercise because if not, you're going to have something else happening. And that's what we're trying to avoid. You want to get through this as easy and as quickly as possible. And so if you do the exercise, then you are helping yourself in that aspect. That's one of the main things. And then afterwards, we want you to know too that a lot of persons, like we give them the Podacats, and then they have the Podacats removed maybe within a year or so right after they have their treatments. My Podacat was in when I had this last one. We give you a card that says that you have an implant. So if you're going away and you have to go through a screening method, you can show them the card to show them that you have an implant. And that is for the safety of you as well. But the actual Podacat, as long as it's flushed every month or every 6 weeks, that is usable. You can take injections through that as well. One of the other things we try to make our persons to realize too is that when you have to take injections or blood work, you should not do that on the arm that has just had the breast removed from. It should be done on the opposite side. Now, for me, who has had both off, then you have to take my blood pressure on my leg. So that's the whole thing. We're all different and we're all unique, and we have these things that we have to abide by. We don't want to cause another problem. So we have to do that. So when it comes to persons coming out of this and they saying, I had an easy time, it's the attitude in which they actually accepted it. They accepted that to know that, hey, I can get through this. If she can do this, I can do it too. And that's exactly what we want to portray to each and every individual. And we have men too with breast cancer. We have 2 men that we can actually speak about within our group. And one was just diagnosed last year as well. And he's done an awesome job this October trying to spread the message to our men to let them know, yes, it could be the hereditary gene. We don't know for sure, but we all need to do our self-breast examination and take care of our bodies and be vigilant to get help when there is something.
Yeah. How does a man do that? Same way?
Same way. And we want you to check up under the arm, which is called the lymph nodes. You want to check your lymph nodes and right up under the arm to make sure that there's no discomfort or anything like that. And if there is, then you want to let your doctor know what the situation is so that they can check that out. Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So I'm a little curious though. For those men, right? And I believe maybe it was once we actually mentioned men for the entire month, even though we know of it, and it was actually Dr. Frankson who actually brings us that awareness. What
Yes.
was those? What were their reaction as men, getting breast cancer? How did they deal with that?
Well,
From your
the two persons that I know of, one is a younger man, and in 2013, he spoke to our prayer breakfast as a breast cancer survivor, and he did bilateral. That means he was able to take both off at the same time. He took off both. He was a young boy then. I think he was only about 19 years of age at that point in time. He's now married and living in the Tampa area with 2 children. But he has done several Zoom meetings for us to help us out during this time. Then we had another gentleman who was diagnosed last year. And when he called, he said, I was given your number. I've been diagnosed with breast cancer and I need to speak to someone. So I laughed and I said, I could tell you about breast cancer, but I can't tell you exactly what's happening within your body. So I'd have to refer you to someone else. He said, oh, I'm happy that there is someone else. He said, because I really need to know. But he did ask questions, what to expect, what not to expect, and all of that, which I was able to help with. And then he spoke with the young gentleman. And he called back and said that he was much more comfortable and he was willing to accept whatever he had to go through. He did his surgery, also did bilateral, took off both, and he did his chemotherapy. He's now back to work and helping out as well, too.
Wow. What a thing. What a thing. With those experiences. And,
yes.
And it's amazing, right? That sometimes you go through something and you believe that you're the only one there, but God always have someone else who can share with you and give you support. So even though
I quite agree with that.
So you have been contacted, but there was someone that you're able to point someone.
Yes, quite right. Yes.
It is important then for individuals to know the sister support group.
Yes.
Tell us how can we get involved? How can we get involved? As a president, I would like for you to tell us how can we get involved, and please feel free to make an appeal. Outside of our $1,000 that we're trying to raise, you don't have to worry about that. We're pressuring that, but please make an appeal. And how can
to our general public, we'd like them to know that regardless of what it is, and it doesn't matter how small it is, it will help. That is the point. A lot of people say, well, I don't have much to give, but that's not the problem. We can take anything and put it to some good use. Because like I say, we want to make sure that we don't turn anybody away. Because you could imagine when we do that, that means you're prolonging. And you don't want that. You want to tackle this as quickly as possible or get the help you need as quick as possible. That's the most important part of it. So when we have no funding, we can't assist. And that is the biggest problem. So we would like everybody to understand, we truly need you as an individual. We found out recently that a lot of churches have stepped in. We say thank you to them. We have a lot of sponsors during when we didn't even expect it. And like I say, coming from individuals. And that's another thing that hadn't happened before. They would do the prayer breakfast, but never to give donations in that aspect. And so we're grateful to them as well. And I think all these things happen so that we can realize that there's more than one set of corporate sponsors out there or entities out there that are willing to assist in every aspect. So we're grateful, truly grateful. But like everything else, we can always use more of it. Because like I said, we don't want to turn anybody away. No, don't want to do that.
Right. So the sister support group is not a bank. It doesn't get money and invest in it and save money. It spend money, right?
That's right. We sure does.
So please, we're appealing to you outside of this month and the end of our drive. You can give directly to the Sister Foundation.
Right.
For example, Here are some contact numbers. You can call
Yes.
242-326-1929 or 242-376-0054 or sistersisterbahamas.com. And
Quite
please,
right.
it's going across the screen. Please connect with them. I know when I spoke to you earlier, you were saying perhaps you'll be able to provide a bank number where transfer could be made. I did not remember to follow through with that. I'm not sure if you have that on tongue
Yeah.
to be able to do, but
It is the Sister Breast Cancer Support Group. It goes to that particular account, which is 7402-478, and it's with Royal Bank of Canada, Finco. That's
all
where it's
right.
at.
So give us that one more time, and you could go
Seven
slow.
four. The bank
Yes.
account number is 7402-478, and you can do it through that's Royal Bank of Canada, Finco. Royal Bank of Canada, Finco.
All right, and that is the sister support group.
Sister, yes.
Right. So, folks, you're getting all the information that is necessary for you to really be purposeful in your giving and intentional at that. We're gonna run those across the screen. We'll
Yes.
do that so that you can make your donation. So please,
Thank you.
this is not for Zoom Hope Live $1,000. This is for you to continue to do after this.
Thank you.
7402-478 RBC Finco. That
Yeah.
is the sister support group Bahamas. And please give with a willing heart. I know all of us can think of at least one person that we know who have had some kind of cancer, and it's not hard to find someone with breast cancer.
Amen.
Someone who is grappling with it, someone who has recovered from it. And recovery, from what we have learned this month, it's recovery is not that, oh, all right, I've taken off my breast, I've done chemotherapy, I'm good to go. Recovery
Nope.
means that, guess what? There is a different lifestyle, medication.
Amen.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yes.
So let's not only talk, let's not only pat on the back, but let's go in the pocket or the checkbook and let us give to the sister support group financially. Right? All right. So
Thank
let
you
us
so
do that.
much.
We're gonna come back, Andrea Sweeting, for your final word.
Thank you.
The final word. But as we do so, I think I want to bring your attention to something that is going on Zoom Up Live, and that is the Audacity of Faith Real Harvest Experience with Dr. Peter Joseph. It's an awesome, power-packed, life-changing series, and I'm telling you, you just can't afford to miss out on this. If you have not heard about it, I'm telling you, it's going on. It's the Audacity of Faith. And this is saying 2 days to go, but guess what? It's already in motion. It's already in motion. So the Audacity of Faith Real Harvest virtual experience with Dr. Peter Joseph. You can view us live on YouTube and on Facebook, and we will make sure we drop the link in the chat as well at Audacity of Faith Real Harvest virtual experience. And come and be blessed. Hear the dynamic, power-packed message from the servant of God. And these are days that we need faith. Talking about breast cancer, you can't fight this alone with medication and chemotherapy and support group. There's something else that we must fight it with, and that is called faith.
Our
tapping
faith,
into the
yes.
invisible. And the
Amen.
invisible is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So tomorrow night it will be live on your social network, Facebook and YouTube. And we're inviting you to just tune in. The link will be in the chat. So you'll be able to see. Tune in and get your faith lift. So we are going right back to Andrea Sweeting now, president of the Sister Breast Cancer Support Group here in the Bahamas. Now, please tell us something, encourage someone out there with your final words. What's your final words for our viewers?
My final words to my public, my sisters and brothers, our God is able. That's the most important thing we must realize. He will see us through each storm, but we have to be able and capable of asking him to take us through the storm, regardless to what is going on. That is the most important thing. We can sit back here, all of us can pray for you, but you too have to pray for yourself. You too have to believe that God will touch you in a special way, and he will. I want everybody to realize we are here to assist you when you need help. If you have questions, concerns, or you just want a direction, because a lot of persons want to know, should I be doing this or should I do that? Yes. One of the other things that I did not mention is that we ask persons, when you're doing your chemotherapy, please let us stay away from our bush medicines. Once chemotherapy is finished, you can do as many of your bush medicines as you like. But during chemotherapy, at the end of it, they want to know that chemotherapy actually worked. So you want to be very careful in that aspect. Only take what your doctor prescribes when you're on the chemo. So that at the end of that session, you would know that you're 100% better. And if you want to maintain yourself by doing your other medicines, then you are free to do that afterwards. Thanks.
Right. All right. So those are some solid advice
Yes.
as it relates to what you should do, and also words of availability. So the Sisters support group are available to you. Thank you so much, President Sweeting, for being here with us and just sharing yourself, sharing your ministry and your experience with us. And definitely we will be able to, we'll connect with you by God's grace on Monday. We want to
Thank
wrap
you.
up all of this.
Thank
We
you
want
so
to
much.
give
It
you
was
the check, right, folks?
truly a
So,
pleasure. Truly my
yeah,
pleasure to be with you this evening, sir. Really.
thank
And
you.
like I say, I apologize for the others because I know I had a difficulty at first. And I say thank you to my little 8-year great grand
Right,
who
that's the
truly
real
assisted.
technician. Yeah, he's smart. He's
Thank you
smart.
so much. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you so
So have a
much.
pleasant one. Thank you too.
Please, and don't leave us. We'll talk
All right.
just at the
Okay.
end of the program.
No.
Right. So you have heard it. It's been a month with mixed emotions as we look at the different stories pertaining to breast cancer, persons sharing their personal experience, the highs and the lows. But there has been a constant thread that I dare not miss, and the importance of going through it with others. We were born into a community, regardless of who we are. We were born into a community, and whatever we face in this life, there's a community for us to strengthen us, to cry with us, to help us, to support us. And one of those is the Sister support group here, breast cancer support group here in the Bahamas. So after we would have conclude our drive this month, we will make a donation to the sister support group, and you will be able to see that. But also, we want you to continue in your giving, and you can do so by giving directly to the sister support group in their bank account, which is 7402478, our Royal Bank of Canada, Finco. So please, it's on the screen. Write it down. Support. If you want to give in other ways, you can call them at 24236. Let me go again. You can connect with them by calling them at 242-326-1929 or 242-376-0054. That is sisterbahamas.com, and you can get all those information. Just log on to their website and just please, even though it was born as women supporting women, it's a support group for those who have to battle breast cancer, male or female. So please support and give. If you want to sow your final seed, please, we are looking forward to reach that $1,000. So please go to zoomoplive.org, and you can, not zoomoplive.org, sorry, you can PayPal, if you get the information on the screen. All right, you can PayPal zoomoplive at gmail.com or PayPal me/ZoomHopeLive and make your donation. Let us surpass our $1,000 goal. Thank you so much for making it Zoom Hope Live. By the way, before I go, I don't want you to miss this. Next week, we're going to do something. We're going to have a game show. We're going to have a game show on Zoom Hope Live. We have never had this before. I'm excited about this. We're going to have a game show, Bible Believers game show. It's not our to do, but we are given the privilege of launching it. That's Carissa Spence. If you can recall, she was a guest last month. Now she have a game show that she will be launching on her channel, and Zoom Up Live will get a copy of that so that we can launch it. And she will be there. She will be here to share with us the idea behind this game show. And I'm telling you, you're gonna love it. It is virtual world. It's a virtual world. And this is something that your family and your friends can connect with. So please, next week on Zoom Up Live, we're going to launch the Bible Believers game show. So tune in and look forward to this. Ring the notification bell and subscribe, so that you do not miss this show. So there's a song that we want to leave you with. It's Free by Kay Anthony. Free by Kay Anthony. And after that, see you next week. God bless you.
When I lift my eyes to the hills, I remember where my help comes from. There's no darkness that your light can put out. Your glory is my mercy, and forever I wanna be praising your name for how you set me free. Whom the sun sets free, oh, is free indeed. Everything I was, you cast into the sea. Your forgiveness is my only memory, as I simply be one whom the sun sets free. When I lift my eyes to the King, I remember all that matters. There's nothing that I've done where I can boast. I'd still be in chains were it not for grace. So I will sing of how you set me free. Whom the Son sets free, oh, is free indeed. Everything I was, you cast into the sea. Your forgiveness is my only memory. As I simply be one whom the Son sets free. Whom the Son sets free, oh, is free indeed. Everything I was, you cast into the sea. Your forgiveness is my only memory. As I simply be one whom the Son sets free. I simply be one whom the Son sets